Hello everyone, this is Jim, and for week 6 for this one presentation, I want to go over some things to help you out with the students database assignment that you got to do in Access for this week. And really this week, with this assignment, you need to have some good familiarity with creating tables in Microsoft Access, relating those tables together, and then you'll be creating a query which is going to be pulling information in from those tables into one usable format, very much like a table. And so these are some big skills that you'll want to know how to do in Microsoft Access. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up Access and get a blank database pulled open. So you'll be following basically the same steps when you start off with this database. We'll wait for Access to open up. So once you get to this intro screen, you would click on the blank database button up at the top. And then down in the lower right where it says blank database, you're going to tell the system where you want to store your database file after you get done creating and saving it. So if you click on this folder icon, you can change the location of where it's at by default. You get a typical save as dialog box. So I'm just going to save mine on my desktop and call it students. Actually, I'm going to call mine demonstration. So I'm going to be doing some different things than what you would be doing on the students Access database file, but you'll be doing the same steps, so this will definitely help you out a lot if you watch this. All right, so I'm calling my file demonstration. I'll hit OK. And you see the file name now called the demonstration and tells you the location of this file. Then you hit create, and this will basically launch Access for us. Okay, whenever Access launches, you launch a new blank database like this, you get a screen that basically just shows the start of a new table for you, and it'll be table 1. And in this situation, whenever you create tables with Access, the design view for Access. Design view gives you a lot more control, how you can name your fields, the data types you give to your fields, and so on and so forth. So to get to the design view of the table, up here in the upper left, you'll have a design button, and you're just going to click on that, and that'll take you into design view for this table. So design view is kind of the back end of the table where you can name things and, again, really control how it's going to work. I'm being prompted now to give the table a name, so I'm just going to call this customers. So I'm going to do a customers table and probably a sales table and link these two together. All right, so I'm going to hit OK. And this takes into design view. So design view looks different than a regular table. Design view, you have some columns here, which allows you to name out the fields that you want in the table. Remember, fields are going to be the columns that are going down in your table. Also, the data type, how you want that information displayed, and also description, which is not mandatory. Description is simply for your own use. So, field name, I want to make this first one, by default, it comes as a customer or ID field. I want to call this customer ID. And auto number is a data type that would increment the number by 1. So the first record would be 1, the second one would be 2, and so on. I'm going to go ahead and make this a text data type so I can put in numbers or letters in that field. And then I'm going to come down the next row. So now I'm going to build another field in my table. So customer ID, I'm going to call this the customer name. Actually, I'm going to call this first name. I'll leave that as text. I'll do a last name field. Leave as text. Address, I'll leave the text data type. Just using my tab key to kind of go across. City. State. And zip code. All right, so all my data types are text data types. So text data type, you can put in numbers, you can put in letters, combination thereof. So very easy to use. So I've got all my fields put in, and again, the next thing we would like to do typically in a table is identify the primary key field. Primary key field says that value in that table can only appear once. So I do want to use the customer ID field as my primary key field, because for every customer, I'm going to give them a unique ID, and that's not going to be used by any other customer. So I'll leave the customer ID field as my primary key field. If I wanted to change it, I could actually go ahead. I could click on that field where it was the primary key field. Up here in your toolbar, you'll see primary key pushed in. If I push it again, now deselect that. And I could choose another field if I wanted to as my primary key field. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as customer ID field. I just wanted to show you how you can kind of manipulate that primary key value on your table. Very important when you build your tables and Access, do some planning, you really want to figure out what field is going to be unique to you in your table. All right, so I'm going to do a little save. And now to go back into table view and actually put in a few records, I just hit the view button. And that'll bring me back into my table. So I'm going to close out this little field list over here. And now I'm just going to put in a few records here. And again, just typing in using my tab button. And I'll put in one more customer here. And I'll finish off the rest of this one. All right, so I've got my couple of records in there. So going across, you call these records. Records are in your table. You see my fields I created in Design View. So hopefully as you go in Design View, create your fields and come back into your table, this will start to make sense as you create your first initial tables for this assignment or as you first start using Access for the first time. Now I'm going to go ahead and create another table now. And to do this, I come to the Create tab and just click on Table. And I get another tab pull open at the start of another table. And the same principle, I'll go back in Design View and I'm going to call this my Sales table. Or let's call it Sales. Don't need the word table after that. Hit OK. And now this one, I'm going to create a table that tracks the sales of what my customers are buying from me. So I want to call this an Order ID field. I'll use that as text. An item field, basically what they buy. I'll leave it as text. Price. I'm going to leave that as, or change up the currency. So hit the drop down arrow. And we get different data types here, certainly. So I'll use currency. And then I'm going to use my customer ID field. So this will be a field very much like it was in the first table, but it's not a primary key field here. So it can repeat multiple times for a one-to-many relationship in Access. And if you think about that, a one-to-many relationship and the one side of the relationship, the primary key field table, that value can only show up once. Now in this orders table, you'd like to have customers making multiple orders. So we don't mind having this customer ID field show up more than once or that value show up more than once. So that's kind of the principle here. All right, so I'm just going to leave this orders table or the sales table as it is. I'm going to hit Save, and I'm going to go into Table View, and I'm going to put in a few orders here. I can get too fancy with my items. And so I'm going to have each one of my customers making one order on this. All right, so I've got a couple orders in here in my sales table, and I've got my customers table set up as well. So I've got two tables right now in my Access database. Now the next thing that I want to do, and the thing you have to do then when you're doing your students database is you'll need to create your tables, much as I have right here. So you'll need to relate those tables together. So I want to make sure I got my table saved. And then when you have multiple objects opened up, like right now I got two tables opened up, you can right click on this tab and choose close or close all. So if I choose close, it just closes off that single item. So I still have my database open. If I want to open up these tables again, I just can double click on the icon to the left and open them up. So very easy to do in that case. Or I can close all and close them both off. So now I want to relate these tables together on the primary key field from one table to the other. So I'm going to go to Database Tools tab, click on Relationships. I'm going to add both of these tables into my Relationships window, hit Close. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to relate these two tables together based on the primary key field that's in the Customers table, Customer ID. That field is also in the Sales table as it's a regular field. So this is a drag and drop operation, basically click and drag operation. So I'm going to click on the Customer ID field in one of the tables, doesn't matter which one, and drag on the top of that same field in the other table. You'll see your mouse pointer gets a little plus icon over it or next to it, and you release over that field, and you get the Edit Relationships dialog box opened up. So here, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and force referential integrity. What that basically means is that if I'm going to go ahead and put in an order in my sales table and use a customer ID, that customer ID has to exist in the customers table. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to have integrity. So that's a good way to do that. Cascade update related fields. What happens here is if I change a customer ID field, let me pull this over here. If I change the customer ID field in the customer table for some reason, that change will propagate through and change the customer ID field in the sales table. All right, so again, keeping things kind of the same between those tables. And lastly, cascade delete related records. If I delete a customer, they no longer exist. That related order, the sales table will get deleted as well from that customer. So again, you're keeping everything kind of the way it should be in your database integrity. All right, so I create the relationship. You'll see this line now between the two tables. The one right here represents that customer ID can only show up once over here. The infinity sign next to the customer ID field over in the sales table. Infinity meaning you can have that value showing up more than once in this table. And again, in the sales table with our customers, we want our customers to place multiple orders, want them to show up multiple times. And so one-to-many relationship allows that in Access, and it works out very well. So in this first video, for Access, showed you how to create tables and actually how to go into the database relationships window and relate those tables together. In the next video, I will show you how to build a query in Access. And again, you'll be using the same kind of steps to work on your query in your student's database assignment for this week. So I'm going to close out the video for now, and I will do the next one looking at the query.